And welcome back to the Mortgage and Marketing Update. I'm Brian DeMarie, loan originator with Union Home Mortgage. Bank of America has recently put out a buyer's poll. 89% said that they are highly motivated to buy. 75% said that it is a top priority for them. And 56% of those said that they are accelerating their timeline to purchase. So supply has continued to crater, and at the same time, demand is increasing, which is going to always yield higher prices. But we can offset all of this with these lower rates, and it's definitely something we want everybody to know is that even though you may have to pay a little bit more for the house, it's not going to be that big a deal because the rates are so low. So as freelancers, many of us have to make our own marketing pieces, especially if we want them to say something specific here. And I'm going to talk about font today. It's something I focus a lot on anytime I make any of these types of marketing pieces here. The first font is going to be pretty esoteric, really not that easy to read. If you can, I'm going to always try to avoid any of these funky types of looking fonts. Next one, a little thinner, a little bit easier to read, but really still not that great. And if you'll notice, this has got a lot of serifs in it. Serifs of these lines that are above and below the letters that sort of give a different type of a look to it. Every once in a while, you'll see this in corporate America, but it's usually only on one word when they're trying to like brand themselves with this one word. Most of this has gone away though, because they're just way more difficult to read, especially all caps. All caps is always going to be 10% more difficult to read. And my goal is to make it quickly readable as quickly as possible and as legible as possible because we only have their attention for a short period of time. So I'm going to use fonts that look like this. They're rounded. They're easy to bold and squeeze together to make it a little bit easier to read as well. You'll see in the background here, this is Helvetica in my little logo here. I am using Helvetica and I'm using all caps, but they're still going to be sans serifs. So they're way more easy to read, but like if you just type in sans into any of those font dictionaries, you can always find they're everywhere, but they're so much easier to read. And remember, we only have their attention for like literally split seconds. And if somebody looks at it and thinks it's off-putting because they can't even really read it, you know they're going to move on really quickly because it takes a lot to actually stop their thumb when they're on any of these social sites. So my goal is always to make it as readable as possible, as quickly as possible. And so if you want any help with your marketing pieces, I'm always happy to look them over, happy to brainstorm with any of you guys. You guys should see a lot of mine. I throw a lot of my stuff onto my agent account. But I'm going to be doing a class tomorrow. It is the application to close class, something you don't want to miss. You always want to know all of the things your buyer is going to be experiencing from contract to close. It is a long process. You know, it takes about a month to close a loan, sometimes less, a lot of times. But you always want to know all of the stages that they're experiencing because you are going to get CC'd on some of these emails, letting you know where they're at. And we want those to be meaningful to you. Check us out at lilydemarie.com. We do have a presence on Instagram. I am building that a little bit more every day. And talk at you tomorrow.